Lesson 7, Area of Compound Shapes, Part 2. So today we're going to be looking at compound shapes again, but they're going to be a little bit different than last time. What you will see on your exercises are larger shapes with, you can imagine like a smaller shape being taken out of them or a piece being removed from that larger shape. And what you're going to have to do is find the area of the shaded shape. Okay, so just the gray part. You're not trying to find the area of the part that has been removed. You want to remove that area from the larger shape. So we have our larger shape right here, and then we have this smaller shape that we are going to be taking out or removing from that to find the gray area. And it's very simple to do that. All you have to do is find the area first of the larger shape. So if we remember our formula for squares and rectangles, area equals base times height. All we have to do is 8 times 8 to get 64 centimeters squared. That's the area of our shaded shape. Okay, but we need to make sure that we are removing the inner shape right here that has been taken out to find the shaded area. So what we have to do is the same thing. We find the area of that smaller square, 4 times 4. We end up with an area of 16 centimeters squared. Okay, so what's important to note here is that 64 centimeters squared covers the whole area that I'm shading right now. Okay, so that's 64 centimeters squared. But we want to remove that inner square so that we're just representing the gray area of the shape. And the way to do that, very simple, you take your 64 and you subtract your 16. So if we just take a minute and do that, we end up with 48 centimeters squared as the shaded area of this shape. Okay, so you find the area of the outer shape, you find the area of what's being removed, and then you simply subtract it or take it away to find the shaded area. So no new formulas again, you're just using them in a little bit of a different way for these shapes today. Now, one thing that may be tricky about some of your questions today is that at first glance, it might not look like there is enough information for you. Okay, so let's start by figuring out what would be the area of the whole circle. So if we went around the whole circle, what would be the area for that? So you could think to yourself, our formula for area of a circle is area equals pi r squared. We know what pi is. And if we look, we know what the radius is. It gives us the diameter, but we know that a radius is half of the diameter, so it gives us a diameter of 6. Our radius is 3 squared. And then you can go from there following all your steps to find the area of that whole circle. However, you might then look after you've calculated that and think, okay, I need to find the area of the triangle. And you think to yourself, well, I know that the area equals half times the base times the height. And you know what the base is, but you might look and think, they haven't given me a height measurement for that triangle. And it is true, it's not written for you, right? There's no line right here that has a measurement, but you just have to do a little bit of thinking. You will notice that the center point of the circle matches up with the base of that triangle. So anytime you draw a line from a center point up to or to the edge of a circle, that is a radius. Okay, so even though they didn't write this down, you can figure out that from the center point to the top, so center point to the top, that's a radius, so you can assume that that is 3 centimeters. Okay, so it didn't write it down for you, but you can figure it out using the information that is there. So even if you're looking at your exercises today and you're thinking there's not enough information, there are clues and ways for you to figure it out. So you're going to have to do a little bit of extra thinking to figure out what those measurements are before you can do your calculations. So just keep that in mind. Figure out based on the drawing what would be your different measurements that you need to use. Find the area of the larger shape, find the area of the smaller white shape, subtract the smaller white shape from the larger shape, and then you should be good to go in finding your answer.